Good evening, race fans, and welcome back in to the iRacing Slice of Life broadcast for our second ever event. We're actually going to be sticking with the theme that we had going for our first ever event with the Pro Series trucks, but this race we are going to be doing the iRacing Super Slide Series. So, getting right on down to our starting lineup for this one. John Fraser in the number 97 going to be starting on the pole with Nick Petska in the 18 to his outside. Correction, that is not right. Ryan Flanagan in the 13 is going to be starting on pole with Dakota Jennings in the 30 to his outside. John Fraser in the 97, back in P number 3 with Nick Petska in the 18 in P number 4. Fifth could go back to the 7 of Jason Clark with Augustin Cassiaview in the number 2 machine in P number 6. Seventh place can go back to Facundo Blanco in the number 3 machine, followed by Shane O'Neill in the 1, back in P number 8. Ninth going to go to Philip Mateja in the number 4, followed by Joe Walker in the 8 in P number 10. Rolling off in 11th, going to be the 6 of Dustin Budry, followed by the 5 of Daryl Gale in P number 12. Finally, rounding out the field here today, going to be the 85 of Jason Weisenhunt for this 13 car event here this evening. Gonna be 25 laps up for grabs in these Pro 2 trucks that are very much not designed to be put on the dirt ovals of the iRacing.com platform, especially ones that are as short as the Limaland Speedway is. But pace car is off, green flag up in the air, 25 laps on the board, and we are immediately 4 wide on the start. Drivers getting all sorts of shoved around here tonight. There are no punches being held, and that was a massive dive bomb by the number 5. That's Daryl Gale going way into there, and he's going to be causing a huge pileup. There's one car upside down on its lid. That's going to be the 8 of Joe Walker, already calling it quits here for the evening. Hard contact between Shane O'Neill and the driver of that number 2 machine, that unsponsored number 2. Already just like this, chaos all throughout the field here tonight. That number 7 machine looking almost like it's going to get flipped over with how these drivers are just ramming into its outside. That's going to be the number 7 of Jason Clark, falling back a position but not giving up. This race, 25 laps, only 4 laps in, and as much as it feels like we've gotten far into here, we really haven't. And that's another driver, Dakota Jennings, going to be taking the tow down to pit lane. So just like that, already 2 cars straight up eliminated from this race. Unfortunately, that is sometimes just the reality of week 13. Chaos bound to ensue, and chaos is what we're getting, especially in these Pro 2 light trucks. And there's a car stuck up in the catch fence. Let's see if we can't get a view of who that was. That looks like it might have been... I'm not actually quite sure whoever it is. It looks like they pulled off the track. It might have been that 6 U-Haul of Dustin Budry, but not quite sure. Whoever it was, they're gone now. Ryan Flanagan holding on to the lead, and it looks like that actually might have been that 85 of Jason Weisenhunt that was stuck up on the outside wall there. Some massive damage on that number 85 machine. It looks like there's not a whole lot of truck actually left there, and he's having a really hard time getting it to rotate whatsoever. Ended up in the wall pretty much every single time. That one machine of Shane O'Neill also having a hard impact with the outside wall. And a massive slam into the side of the 11. At least it looked like an 11. We don't have an 11 on our timing and scoring, so it could be possible that some of these drivers are using trading paints to change the numbers on the sides of their cars. Speaking of 11 though, already 11 laps in the books as Flanagan rounds the turn number 2 just like that. A very cool and comfortable, almost full 2-second gap between himself and the rest of the field, which is really impressive when these drivers are setting only 16, sometimes 17-second long lap times around this track. For the most part, the field's gotten itself spread out, and one driver goes around. That is going to be Nick Petska. And looks like Nick's going to be taking the tow as well. Immediately calling it quits, sending that car back to pit lane. Already getting close to halfway into the race, and a very hard impact for Agustin Cassiabu in that number 2 machine. Very heavy damage. That's going to be screwing up his race very majorly for the remainder of it. But halfway in the race, already 4 cars have retired. A couple more also a lap down. Chaos breaking out at the Limaland Speedway, and Flanagan gonna help that car around. That was Daryl Gale getting a little bit of assistance by our race leader here tonight. That gap still almost a full 2 seconds, but when you're in the lead of a race, the last thing you want is for lap traffic to be slowing you down. And speaking of getting slowed down, we have a car stopped on the backstretch. That is the 7 of Jason Clark. His engine exploded, so that's going to be another car taken out of this race just like that. And just like that, only 5 cars are left on the lead lap. Lap 17 out of 25, going to be making it 18 now as we cross the line. The field all sorts of spread out. Flanagan having led just about every single lap, and it looks like he might starting to be getting a little bit of handling issues in that number 13 machine. He has slapped the outside wall with his right front a couple of times now, looking to try and get around that 2 machine of Agustin Cassiabu, but hitting the wall like that right in front of him, very much not conductive to making the pass. Agustin's going to be pulling it down low, pretty much riding over those tires, and most other dirt cars going over those tires would be a death sentence, but in these Pro 2 trucks, they are simply so massive that they can just pretty much get away with outright ignoring it. 21 laps in the books. Going to be the big high five up in the air for the remainder of this race. Flanagan, a very, very massive lead over the rest of the field. Call that 4 seconds now. It looks like Trouble O'Neill got spun. O'Neill was up in the 2nd position. He got spun around. He's going to get passed by Frazier. And now both these drivers' chances of catching up to Flanagan are seriously dashed. It's going to need a monumental stroke of luck for any of these cars to give anything to catch up to Flanagan. Of course, I say that Flanagan has a pretty hard impact with the outside wall, so that could slow him down just a little bit. 23 laps, going to be 24 now. Just one more time around the speedway to bring out the white flag. Ryan Flanagan, actually, going to be having a entire nearly 10-second lead now as the white flag comes out. Just going to be one more time around the speedway for this driver, and he is going to be taking it home as a winner in that number 13 machine. John Frazier going around the rest of the speedway. He's going to be taking it home in P number 2, followed by Shane O'Neill. Just a 9-minute long race, but sometimes that's all it takes for a whole lot of chaos to break out in not a lot of time, race fans. Give it up for our race winner, the 13 of Ryan Flanagan, as he pulls it around and potentially attempts to do some donuts here. We will have to see, is he able to pull them off? The Pro 2, not exactly a truck you do donuts in. But he's trying his best to make it work. He's sort of doing it, and he's going to make contact with the number 2 of Agustin Cassiaview. So just like that, another one down in the books. But before we can sign it off for the evening, let's take a look at our race results, and of course give a big congratulations to all of these drivers out here in the iRacing community that makes these broadcasts possible and makes the iRacing community as great of a community as it is. Coming home, P number 1, Ryan Flanagan in the 13, leading every single lap of this race, just like that. Second, gonna go back to the 97 of John Frazier, followed by the 1 of Shane O'Neill back in P number 3. Fourth, gonna go to Facundo Blanco in the 3 machine, followed by Dustin Budry in the 6 in P number 5. Sixth, gonna go to Agustin Cassiaview in the number 2, followed by Daryl Gailey in the number 5 in P number 7. Eighth, gonna go to Philip Matasia in the number 4, followed by Jason Wisenhunt in the 85 in P number 9. 10th place, gonna be going back to Jason Clark in the number 7, 10 laps down. Just goes to show that even at these little miniature races like this, anything can happen to cause things to fall apart for you. 11th, gonna go back to Nick Petska in the 18th, followed by Dakota Jennings in the 30 in P number 12, and finally, rounding out the field here this evening, gonna be the 8 of Joe Walker. As always, thank you all for tuning in for round number 2 of the iRacing Slice of Life broadcast. Gonna be trying to do a couple more Week 13 events before we get back to the regularly scheduled iRacing goodness. But for now, that's all we have for y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all next time.